Can we ever go back to the future? This rhetorical question, brimming with paradox, sets the stage for a crucial discussion. It's not just about time travel or science fiction, it's about the present and the future, the old and the new, the traditional and the innovative. It's about change, and understanding the need for it in the current times. We live in a world that's always on the move. A world where the only constant is change. Yet there's a significant portion of us who yearn for the familiar, the comfort of the known, the security of the status quo. The ideological clash between progressivism and conservatism is shaping the world we live in, and the world we will bequeath to future generations. Let's take a moment to consider these ideologies. The term progressivism, derived from the word progress, signifies forward movement and advancement. It's about embracing change, about pushing the boundaries of what's possible, about striving for a better tomorrow. On the other hand, conservatism, rooted in the word conserve, represents preservation and maintaining the status quo. It's about holding on to the values and traditions that have shaped us, about finding stability in the midst of change, about keeping the flame of the past alive in the present. A Gallup poll conducted in 2022 provides a fascinating insight into this ideological divide. It reveals that 62% of Americans identify as either liberal or conservative. This isn't just a statistic, it's a mirror reflecting our collective consciousness, our shared identity, our common dreams, and our divergent paths. As we navigate through these complex times, understanding the origins of these ideologies becomes more significant. Progressivism, a term that signifies forward movement and advancement. It's a word that's been echoing through the halls of history for over a century now. But have we ever stopped to really examine its roots? To understand its true meaning, let's break it down. The word progressivism is derived from the Latin progressus, meaning to go forward. This is then combined with the English suffix ism, a term used to denote a distinctive practice, system, or philosophy. Together they form progressivism, an ideology that champions the cause of moving forward. However, progressivism isn't just about simple forward motion. It's about challenging the old and embracing the new. It's about pushing for change in the pursuit of a better future. It encourages innovation, fosters creativity, and values the pursuit of knowledge. It's an ideology that believes in the power of human ingenuity to solve problems and improve the world. But it's also important to note that progressivism isn't about reckless change. It's about thoughtful, deliberate advancement. It's about recognizing that while tradition has its place, we cannot allow ourselves to be shackled by the past. Instead, we must be willing to question, to innovate, to adapt. And so, progressivism became the rallying cry for those who believed in the power of change. It was the banner under which they marched, pushing for social, political, and economic reforms. It was the ideology that fueled the fight for women's suffrage, for civil rights, for environmental protection. It was, and continues to be, a beacon for those who believe in the potential for a brighter, better future. In essence, progressivism is about evolution. It's about acknowledging that we are not static beings, but dynamic creatures capable of growth and change. It's about understanding that progress is not just a destination, but a journey. And it's about recognizing that this journey is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Progressivism, therefore, is about challenging the status quo and pursuing advancement. It's about refusing to be content with good enough, and instead striving for even better. It's about understanding that the world is not a fixed entity, but a living, breathing organism that we have the power and the responsibility to shape and improve. Conservatism, on the other hand, is all about preservation. This ideology takes its name from the Latin root conservare, which translates to keep, preserve, keep intact, guard. It's a philosophy rooted in the desire to maintain and protect what's already established, to keep things intact and unchanged. You see, conservatism is very much a reaction to change, a response to the winds of progress that threaten to sweep away the familiar. It's an ideology that values tradition, stability, and continuity over radical transformation. It's about preferring the devil you know to the devil you don't. The term conservative first emerged in the political lexicon during the French Revolution, a time of tumultuous change and upheaval. It was used to describe those who opposed the radical changes brought about by the revolution, those who wished to conserve the old order. From that point onwards, conservative became a label for those who resist rapid change and prefer the slow evolution of society based on time-tested values and principles. But conservatism isn't just about resisting change for the sake of it. It's about preserving the wisdom of the ages, the lessons learned through centuries of human experience. It's about understanding that society is a complex, organic thing that can't be remodeled overnight without unforeseen consequences. It's about valuing the tried and true over the new and untested. Conservatism also emphasizes individual freedom, limited government, free markets, and a strong national defense. It's an ideology that believes in the power of tradition and the wisdom of the crowd, preferring the organic evolution of society over top-down, engineered change. So when we talk about conservatism, we're talking about an ideological stance that values preservation over innovation, continuity over change, tradition over novelty. It's about understanding that not all change is progress, and that sometimes the best way forward is to hold on to what works, to what has stood the test of time. Conservatism, therefore, is about maintaining the familiar and resisting rapid change. These two ideologies often find themselves at loggerheads. Such is the nature of progressivism and conservatism, two opposing forces that have shaped the course of history. Like two sides of the same coin, they represent the ceaseless tug-of-war between change and tradition, between daring leaps forward and cautious steps backward. In the United States, this ideological clash is palpable. A recent ABC News Ipsos poll revealed that a staggering 76% of Americans believe their nation is veering off course. This sentiment is the breeding ground for ideological clashes, as it stirs up the age-old debate: should we embrace change or cling to what we know? In the midst of this ideological battlefield, an intriguing shift is taking place. The number of self-identified Republicans, traditionally associated with conservative values, is on the decline. This dwindling number suggests that more and more citizens are distancing themselves from staunch conservatism. But does that mean they are veering towards progressivism, or perhaps they're forging a new path altogether? What's certain is this: the ideological landscape is in flux. As we grapple with unprecedented global challenges, the call for change grows louder. The progressive camp, with its forward-looking ethos, is gaining traction, but conservatism, with its emphasis on preservation and stability, still holds a significant sway. The ideological battle between progressivism and conservatism is more relevant now than ever. As we stand at the crossroads of history, we must ask ourselves, which path will lead us to a future that's not just survivable but thriving? This is the question that defines our time, and it's one we'll continue to explore. So, do we crave change or desire to retain the familiar? This question, my friends, is not just a philosophical musing. It's a reflection of the ideological spectrum that shapes our society. The choice between progress and conservation is becoming more urgent, more relevant, and more important than ever before. Let's take a moment to consider our stance. Are we the torchbearers of progress, constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, challenging the status quo, and striving for a brighter, more advanced future? Or do we find comfort in conservation, in preserving the traditions, values, and systems that have stood the test of time, providing a sense of stability and continuity? Yet, the reality is that these ideologies are not mutually exclusive. They are two sides of the same coin. Progress can lead to innovation, growth, and advancement. But unchecked, it can also result in the loss of valuable traditions and principles. Conservation, on the other hand, can provide stability and preserve cultural heritage. But if we resist change too much, we risk stagnation and complacency. So what's the answer? Perhaps it lies in balance. A balanced approach that embraces the dynamism of progress while respecting the wisdom of conservation might be the key to shaping a future that's both exciting and sustainable. An approach that allows us to advance, yet ensures we don't lose sight of our roots. An approach that lets us adapt to the changing world, yet ensures we preserve the values that define us. As we stand at the crossroads of progress and conservation, let's remember that the future isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about finding a harmonious blend of both. As we ponder on the need for change in these complex times, remember, it's not about going back to the future, but about moving forward with wisdom from the past.